So I quit my job again, and now I am officially a full-time artist once again. I feel like if you followed me for my series, this is day 123 and a half of trying to afford the rent without my ex, and since leaving my job since I got called a border hopper. And you're hearing that news, I feel like that would be kind of, like, what are you doing? I did give it a really decent shot, and like I spent 7 months working at this place, and not just the dynamic of the culture at the workplace was toxic, but just the demand that they had, the way that you had to ask permission to drink water, go to the bathroom, things like that. It just it was so bad that at one point I actually wound up passing out. And when I went to the hospital, they told me that my heart was working harder than it was supposed to. And I did wind up going to all the specialists and all that kind of stuff, and they said everything was normal. But that was only after I took a 2-week break from work. And on that 2-week break, as soon as I decided that I wasn't going back, I wound up connecting with all these different artists and entrepreneurs, and these new opportunities started opening up for me. And I realized that, maybe I could push myself, maybe I could sacrifice my health and stay at this place and see if I find something else. But I feel like the best option for me is just to pursue what I really love to do and see what happens. I'm just going to keep betting on myself. Last year I really saw the amount of interest there was in my work, and while of course a big part of that was people wanted to help me in the situation that I was in, I feel like people wouldn't have bought the things they bought if they didn't also like what they were buying. So now I want to create new systems for my art and my business, and really take it to another level and see where it goes, because I really cannot keep putting myself in these positions where I'm being exploited and undervalued and pushed to the brink of death, honestly, like in this last situation. And they didn't care. And they really didn't care that I went to the hospital at all. Now I'm thinking about what I want to focus on, and I really want to lean into having a more consistent body of work that will push my skills further, that will really emphasize my skill in color theory. Now I want to introduce you to a new series. It's called After Work. After Work is the exploration and study of the world as it would be if jobs became obsolete. If somehow, some way we found something that would work better for us, to the point where these places where, we sat behind screens, we wrote emails, we consumed, these places become obsolete. These places become abandoned. These places get overrun with nature, and they become places that we no longer need. What would that look like? What would it feel like? I want to make 100 of these. I want to see what it evolves into, because sometimes I feel like when I start on an idea or a project, it winds up turning into something else. I'm working small so that I can work faster. I want these places to have a sense of healing. They are being reclaimed by the earth, to make it feel like the fall of society, but almost like a place to escape to. Like when I feel like when you're at work, you're constantly in this mindset of when am I gonna leave? When am I gonna get a break? When am I going to have some reprieve from what I'm doing right now that isn't really mine? And I want this little tiny, square to become a space for you to kind of dive into, to look at when you are overwhelmed and filled with this unyielding dissatisfaction for this place that you have to go to every day that you have to sacrifice your time for on a regular basis, because we don't always have the option to just leave. Like, I love when people say, like, just find a different job, just find a new job, just do a different thing. Like, not everyone has that option. And so I want to make things that I want to paint things that feel like somewhere you can be, even if this becomes like a visual mantra for you to, think of, like, your happy place, right? Like, this place that you think of that, I like, when I'm at work, I can go here, and it maybe will make the day go by a little bit faster. I also want to open it up to you guys and see what kind of places you think that I should focus on too. Like, what am I missing? What kind of, like, what places am I not thinking of, where the only reason why they exist is because we're inside of a particular kind of system that works for somebody else but not really us. In the next 7 days, I want to make as many of these after work paintings as possible. My goal right now is 15 paintings, 15 6x6 mini paintings of the Afterwork series. And at the end of the month, I'm going to drop limited edition prints of the first set of paintings that I make. So if you want to be the first ones to know about the drop, you can sign up for my newsletter. Right now in my art business, I get maybe up to 2 print sales a month, maybe 2 commissions a month, and that winds up totaling to, on average, maybe anywhere between $200 to $300 a month. And within the next 26 days, I need to level that up to $2,500 a month. To transition out of my job for these first few weeks, I held an auction for 15 paintings, which wound up with 5 winners. And while I was a little sad to see some of them go for the price that they went for, like, I'm just looking at it as me releasing these, like, older paintings that don't really represent my current, like, trajectory, my current style, and looking at it as opening up space for new art and new ideas, and fundraising this money so that I can have a good head start into what I'm trying to do. Want to follow along my full-time artist journey? You want to see what places that we choose next? If you want to be the first one to know about the print drop, subscribe, join my newsletter. Otherwise, I'll see you next time after work.